Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be once again returning to r/entitledparents, the subreddit dedicated to stories about parents being entitled. Who could have guessed? Quickly before we begin, I just wanted to very speedily mention that I will be streaming at Twitch on Thursday, as I do every Thursday at 7 PM UK time. It's like midday in America. If you can't make it, I do also upload the videos to my YouTube channel, Blue the Nerd Live, the next day, so go check that out. It's a good time. I also might at some point start streaming on both YouTube and Twitch if that is a viable option. I'll have a look into it. But yeah, those are both things. So go check the stream out. It's a good time. Other than that, let's take a look at the subreddit, shall we? Parents forbade me from getting a haircut my whole childhood. I got my hair cut as an adult and my mum judged me for it. I was forced to have very long hair. I was told it was because my mother said her mother forced her to keep her hair short and she said it traumatized her. I honestly felt like Rapunzel with my long ass blonde hair and not being allowed to change it. I told my mum when I was a teenager that I was sick of my long hair and I wanted a change. She said absolutely not. I decided to get my hair and donate the hair to charity. Mum crapped all over the idea, saying I was going to regret it and have a mental breakdown over the change. I was an adult, but I didn't have enough money for a car, so I needed a ride. I asked my mum for a ride and my mum refused, so I got my dad to drive me. She acted like I was going to get an abortion. She was so unhappy. When I got home with my new hair, she never once gave me a compliment. She barely looked at me. I loved my new hair too much to care what she thought, but it was shocking for a woman in her 60s to get petty because I chose to do something for myself. She thinks she owns my hair. I wonder if she never said anything about my hair because she was mad she was wrong and that I had no regrets. Everyone else liked my hair. My dad wasn't happy with the idea, but grew to accept it. We've had a post in this subreddit about hair before, so it seems to be like a weirdly common trend with like parents being overly controlling about their kids' hair. The reality is, this mum doesn't realize that she's being exactly the same as her mum. She claims that she was traumatized because her mum made her cut it short. But it's not the fact that her mum forced her to have short hair, it's that her mum forced her to have a style of hair. Like, she's being the exact same thing. She's forcing her daughter to have long hair when her daughter doesn't want to have long hair. That's the exact same thing. She's being the exact same. If she didn't want her daughter to have the same trauma that she did, she wouldn't force any hairstyle on her daughter, because that's what it's about. Just the complete like refusal to accept that and to accept that her daughter is happy with a hairstyle she likes makes her exactly the same as her mother, and she just doesn't realize it. My mother is upset that I wanted my wedding to be about me and my husband. I, 33 female, just married my husband, 33 male, this past Saturday. I planned our wedding over the past 13 months. I did hire an event coordinator, but I did the majority of the work. I wanted simple elegance, and I found a church and a reception hall that didn't need a lot of decor added. My husband and I also decided to keep our wedding fairly small, around 100 people or so. I should mention my parents gave me a decent lump sum of cash, not overly crazy or small, to spend on my wedding as I see fit, but anything outside that cost I needed to pay for with my husband. The money essentially covered the reception costs besides decor and entertainment and cake. From the beginning, my mother wanted to invite a ton of her friends. I told her that simply wasn't possible due to the size of the venue she booked, but it never stopped her from asking every couple of weeks to see if we could add more people. Friends, she insisted, had prayed so hard for me to find someone to marry. That's already a big yikes. I only conceded for a few couples I have actually known since I was a teenager or younger. One couple I actually speak to on a semi-regular basis. The real trouble started when I informed my mother that the tables the venue provided only seated 8. She wanted all her friends sitting at the same table. She insisted for her, my father, my sister, her brother-in-law, my grandparents, and 3 of their couple friends needed to all sit together, claiming she didn't want anyone feeling snubbed about not being at the right table. I warned her months ago when I took her on a tour of my reception venue that this was not possible, and she started getting frustrated and asking for larger tables or different tables tables to try and fit a large amount of people at one table. The venue could not do larger tables. At the time, I hadn't even sent out invitations, and I kept telling her that it wasn't the place or time to freak out about sitting arrangements. During this same tour, she started inquiring about all these extra decor items she wanted to add that we didn't really want/need for our day. The venue has this beautiful bricked patio with trees and lights and a fire pit. It was just extra work I knew that was going to be reliant on me/my coordinator to follow through on, since my mother often suffers from headaches, etc., and I knew she was going to be busy with her sister and brother-in-law/any other family members. When I expressed concerns and mentioned that invitations were not sent and that I didn't want all the extra decor, I received a very stern and angry remark. "This isn't just about you, OP, this is a reflection on me and your father." Over the next several months, my mother insisted on several unnecessary DIY decor for the outdoors. My husband and I purchased a cutting cake/cupcake package and planned on one of the cupcake flavors to match our cutting cake, and my mother insisted on wanting to get a slice of cake even though I expressed my dislike of the idea. Both of my parents insisted on all their friends at their table, and I told them I would do my best to sit everyone they wanted to talk to close to their table. However, that wasn't good enough and I had to just make it happen. I didn't make it happen. I sat people close together and I have informed them as such. Wedding week arrived, and of course I ended up having to fix up the extra decor last minute. In addition, day of my wedding, I found out at dinner my parents moved their friends to their table despite sitting literally right next to them at an adjacent table. And today my husband and I discovered a quarter of our cutting cake gone. We only took one slice to share between us at the reception. Too long, don't read. My entitled parents snuck around to ensure they disrespected my boundaries and got their way at my wedding. There's a lot of red flags here. The first is like assuming that people that OP doesn't really know are entitled to be at their wedding because they prayed for OP to find a husband. Bit of a yikes moment to me. Bit of a weird one. Bit of a red flag. But also so many other things. Like literally the point where their parent says about their child's wedding that the wedding day isn't all about their child. Who the f***est is it about then? It's literally their child's wedding. It's literally the day about their child getting married, and they've gone, "Oh, it's not all about you." It is. That's what weddings are. That's just like a horrible thing for a parent to say. Just a horrible thing. And then the parents went and stole some of the wedding cake. Like, just insane. Actually insane. Yeah, no, yeah. That just, I feel for you, OP. I feel for you. That's just, I would have honestly, I know it's a really hard thing to do, but I probably would have gotten to a point at this point where I would have been like, "You're not coming to the wedding. You have disrespected my boundaries so much. You have made what is meant to be an amazing day for me so difficult that you're not coming." And that would have been the end of it. Because man. My dad is claiming I'm keeping his granddaughter from him. I have a beautiful 2.5-month-old baby. My dad started fighting with me because I refused to leave her alone with him until he shows me he can take care of her. Change diaper, feed from bottle, warm up breast milk, etc. We had a huge fight. There was yelling. And when I told him the next day that I can't do this anymore because it's preventing me from caring for my baby properly, he complained that I am putting her over my relationship with him. Duh. So I told him she is more important, and I will talk to him when she doesn't need me 24/7, and blocked him. My mum came over a few times the next week and eventually asked if she can come over with my dad so he can see her. I said yes. He came over, threw a fit that she's asleep, and left. The next day I was at my parents' house with her while my dad was at work. I was downstairs in the living room with her when he came back home early. My mum offered him to wash his hands and hold her, something we also fought over, and he just stopped angrily upstairs. And when my mum went to talk to him, he apparently wanted her to bring my baby to him without me. I obviously refused because she's so small and I don't trust him even with my mum's supervision, and he is now claiming I am keeping her away from him. To be honest, maybe I should. Edit. I require anyone and everyone who wants to help with my daughter to show me that they can care for her. Taking care of a baby, especially an infant, has changed so much in the past 10 years, let alone the 30 years since I was that age. All of the other grandparents, my mum and in-laws, were happy to help around and didn't mind having to show me that they can care for her. My dad is the only one who refused and was insulted by it. He wouldn't even change her diaper, regardless of how I phrased it. If he won't show me he can care for her while I'm away for an hour, then I can't trust him. Additionally, in this specific case, he insisted that I stay out of the room while he holds her, which is just a very strange request. I wasn't keeping her away from him, he was welcome to hold her under my supervision. He just refused to have me there, so I didn't let him hold her. Wow. Yeah, there's a few things to say there. As OP already said, him being like, you're putting your baby over your relationship with me. Yes, and that is the right thing to do. If this guy is going to make her choose between her baby and her father, it is normal for a parent to choose their baby. That's just the most normal thing to do. Like, straight up. He's making her choose, not her. But also, yeah, it's like really weird that he would be like, you're keeping the baby away from me. I just wanted to hold her. But then like refused to hold the baby if it meant that she would also be there. Like, that's really weird. That he only wants to hold the baby if she's not there. Like, what does he want to do? That implies that he wants to do something that she wouldn't be happy with, like hold the baby wrong or play with the baby in a dangerous way, or just like, I don't know, not look after a baby properly. Like, the implication that he needs to do it when she can't see him doing it is that he's going to be doing something wrong. Otherwise, there's no reason he would be unhappy with holding the baby when she's in the same room. I don't know, that's just really weird to me. It's probably for the best that she keeps her baby away from him. If nothing else, then because he refuses to show that he can actually look after a baby. If he can't show that, he shouldn't be looking after a baby. And like, I don't think that's something that is exclusive to OP and their child. If someone is not only refusing, but is angry about having to prove they can look after a baby, and will only hold a baby when the parent isn't there, there's something wrong with them looking after that baby, and probably shouldn't be. But that's just my take. And the last post. Entitled Dad wants kid to ride my dog. This happened several years ago, and it still makes me angry whenever I think about it. My dog was not feeling well, and we were sitting in the waiting room of the vet's office. A family sat down across from me, and the father saw my dog and told his daughter, who looked like she was about 2 or 3 years old, to go meet Lassie. Everything was fine until she decided to start climbing on his back, and I said, no, he has arthritis and doesn't feel well, please don't do that. The girl's father jumped up and ran over and started screaming so close to my face that I could feel his spit. He said I had no business bringing a dog like that in here if it wasn't good for kids, and there was something wrong with me if I wouldn't let a Lassie dog play with kids. I told him that he has arthritis and is not feeling well, and I did not want her trying to ride him. He verbally abused me, female baby boomer, some more, and told me to take the dog out of here, the vet's office, if it wasn't okay for his daughter to play with him. My dog was perfectly well behaved. He always is. I was trying to protect him. I looked over at the vet's tech, hoping they would step in, but they were on the phone. He said, "Here, Lassie, here, girl," then picked up his daughter and held her over my dog, trying to place her on my dog's back. I grabbed my dog's leash and pulled him out from under her just in time, and the kid started to whine. I said, "He's a boy, and he's here to see the vet. He's not a horse, and he's not here for your kid to ride." This resulted in a lot more verbal abuse from him, and I kept wishing the vet techs would get off the phone and do something. He was still berating me when a vet tech called my name and led me and my dog into the exam room. My dog was treated for gastroenteritis and recovered just fine. A little update, my dog is doing fine. His arthritis bothers him sometimes, but he is enjoying life. Fortunately, I never saw that entitled father again. I still get steamed whenever I remember him. Yeah, there's a lot of entitled parents on here, and a lot of them are entitled over a lot of things. You know, you could argue that a wedding is one of the biggest things that a parent might be entitled with over their child's wedding, but this one just creates such a visceral reaction in me for so many reasons. But like, it wouldn't be acceptable to put your child on a stranger's dog, regardless of if that dog was sick or not. Just straight up, that's just not an acceptable thing. You don't know the temperament of a stranger's dog, and you have a 2 to 3 year old child who's playing with a stranger's dog, and you're trying to put your child on that dog. But not only that, he says that they have no business bringing their dog in if they can't be with kids. No business bringing their sick dog to a vet. This took place in a vet. And this guy was like, how dare you bring your dog to the vet if my child can't ride it? Like, not only is it unacceptable to try and make your child ride a stranger's dog, it's definitely unacceptable to try and make your child ride a stranger's dog in the vet, where the implication is that something is wrong with the dog. But people shouldn't be riding dogs. You don't ride dogs, even if you're a child. That's just not a thing. Especially a stranger's dog, and a stranger that has said, I don't want your child riding my dog. It's fine if your child is, you know, playing with the dog, but not riding it. That's just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. But it's a vet. Of course it's okay for her dog to be in the vet if it's sick. That's what the vet's for. The vets aren't there for children to play with random animals. The vet's there for sick animals to get treatment. Maybe if you're not okay with people not allowing your child to ride on their sick dog's back, you shouldn't be bringing your child to the vet, because a dog is supposed to be in a vet a lot more than a child is. It's literally the point. And that's where I'm gonna end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. My voice is going. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. A huge, massive special thank you to all of the YouTube members and patrons that do support me. It genuinely helps so much. So yeah, honestly, thank you so much. Other than that, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.